Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy KTK with a brand new video and a brand new day. Today we're going to be reacting to the top 10 most disturbing books made. I think that's what it's called. Something along those lines. But we're going to look at some very disturbing books. Some books that's been banned. Some books, well not banned, but books you don't really want to read if you don't want to get nightmares. You feel me? Because you read these books, you're going to get nightmares. As a literate man like myself, I read a lot of books. If you ask me to name 10 books, I can name 10 books. No, I will not be naming those 10 books right now though. But let's just stop all the yapping. Let's just stop all the capping. Let's just get straight into the video. Let's just enjoy, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Road to 100 subscribers. Yes, I rode to 100 subscribers. That's all bad I'm doing, but we're gonna make it to the 100 subscribers by the end of the year. I believe it. And without further ado, let's just get straight into the video, man. Alright guys, so we got the videos right in front of us. Well, not videos, the video right in front of us. You can see we got all the books that we shouldn't read if you don't want to get nightmares. And we're gonna be just looking through all of them. The original video is down in the link below. That sounds so weird. Did I put you that? It's whatever. But it's down in the bio. Down in the description, sorry. Go watch it, go show this guy some love. And yeah, shout out to original creator. Let's get it.
Blood Meridian is a 1985 novel by
Hold on,
American
let me turn this
author
up.
Cormac McCarthy, often considered one of the most brutal books ever written. Set in the Texas-Mexico borderlands of the 1850s, it follows a 14-year-old runaway, known as the Kid, who joins the real-life Galantan Gang, a group of hunters paid for Native American scalps. As the Kid travels with the gang, he witnesses and takes part in massacres, slavery, decapitations, and other atrocities. The violence comes from all sides,
Hold on a
including Native
second.
American
Listen, I
attacks and
know. 32 seconds into the video, I'm already pausing. Bear with me. No, you see, I just want to add something onto this, you feel me? But this actually kind of sad. Just imagine you're the natives, and then you're just living, enjoying the nature, the land that God has given you, then all of a sudden some random dudes just come out to nowhere and just start killing and R-wording everyone. That just must be sad, man. Yo, shout out to the natives, dog. If there are any natives alive still, shout out to you, man. You're doing good things for the world.
with one scene describing a tree full of dead infants. At the center of the
Yikes.
gang stands the terrifying Judge Holden, a massive, hairless, 7-foot-tall giant who is
I've
both
actually
a
heard about
genius
this book.
philosopher and pure embodiment of war and evil. Through the judge's chilling monologues, McCarthy explores the idea that war is the ultimate truth and that violence is the only constant in human nature. After surviving a Comanche massacre, they continue their rampage across the Southwest, slaughtering indigenous people and Mexican villages for
Yikes.
bounty money. The gang's
Mexicans.
unchecked depravity eventually
Hey,
forces
man.
governments to
How
place a
y'all feel about
bounty on gang
Mexicans?
leader Glanton's head. After relocating to Arizona and terrorizing the local Yuma people, they are attacked and nearly wiped out. The Kid is injured, but escapes. Years later, after wandering the West, he meets the now middle-aged Judge Holden in a saloon. The judge corners the Kid in an outhouse, where the protagonist, now called the Man, is subsequently violated and murdered. The book ends with the judge dancing and declaring he will never die. Most say
Alright. Hold on. Nah, cause I remember watching a video on this book, right? The Blood Meridian. I watched a whole this is an hour long documentary, something like that. But it only said he got chopped up and killed. He got violated? Bro, imagine you're taking a shit and a big white 7-foot alien just comes in and start taking your cheeks. Ah, hell nah, bro. You're gonna slam me out for that one, bro.
the story is too
Hell no.
disturbing to be a movie. I Have No Mouth and I
Oh
Must
my god.
Scream is a 1967 short story by American writer
Six,
Harlan
seven?
Ellison. Set after a nuclear war between the United
This
States,
one,
Soviet
I'm
Union,
sure
and
everyone knows
China,
about
it
this.
follows the rise of AM, a military super AI that becomes self-aware,
I'm sorry about pausing again, but bear with me. No, it's crazy because around the AI, make sure y'all are saying thank you to your AIs, bro. It was like you don't know when they could take over. So when the AIs take over, you are probably you're on their good side. You always said thank you after you ask them the weirdest stuff ever. You feel me? But yeah, If you be cracking AIs, dog, oh my god, I even want to continue, bro.
Develops pure hatred for its creators
Them
and
character
wipes
AI
out
apps be
humanity,
different though.
leaving only 5 survivors: Ted, Benny, Alan, Nimdog, and Gorister. The computer keeps the group alive underground and subjects them to endless psychological and physical torture.
All
They
left to one
cannot
woman
age,
there, so
starve, or die, making escape impossible.
how
AM
did AI do that?
reshapes each victim to maximize their suffering. Benny is transformed into an animal-like
Yikes.
creature stripped of his intelligence and identity. Ellen is manipulated into emotional dependence and
Hold on, my back be
self-loathing.
hurting.
Ted is made paranoid and unstable. When the survivors hear rumors of canned food hidden in distant ice caves, they travel 100 miles through AM's deadly world. Along the way, AM continues tormenting them with disasters, injuries, and failed escape attempts. After finally reaching the food, they realize they have no way to open it. In desperation, Ted discovers that the AI can't stop them from killing each other. So Ted impales Benny and Gorister with ice picks, Ellen takes out Nimdog, and then gets stabbed by Ted. Enraged, AM spends centuries punishing Ted, transforming him into a helpless, gelatinous blob. Though relieved he spared the others from eternal torment, Ted is now trapped forever, unable
That's
to die.
insane.
The story ends with his realization. He has no mouth and he must
You must
scream.
scream. That's sad.
Struwwelpeter is an 1845 German children's book by psychiatrist Heinrich Hoffmann. It contains rhyming cautionary
what?
tales meant to scare children into
Bro,
good
these German
behavior,
words be
all
different.
accompanied by cheerful and cartoonish illustrations that make the content even more disturbing. The title character, Struwwelpeter, refuses to cut his hair or nails and becomes
my
a
god.
dirty,
Yo, shout out to the
frightening
Germans, dog.
outcast.
They
In
be
one of the
doing good
book's
for the world.
most
No,
infamous stories, a boy named
I'm gonna
Konrad
stop right there. I just
ignores
said Germans are doing
warnings
good for the
about
world. Are they?
thumb-sucking until
Oh
a
no, from the
tailor
past, I
appears
can't say they
holding
were doing good
giant
for the world.
scissors and cuts off his thumbs. Another tale follows Kaspar, who refuses to eat his soup and starves to death after a few days. Pauline plays with matches, despite being told
Get
not
burns?
to, sets herself on fire and burns to death, leaving
What
only her
the
cats to
fuck?
mourn her. The story of the Inky Boys follows 3 boys who bully a dark-skinned child and are punished by being dipped into a giant inkwell, turning them completely black. Hans, who constantly walks while staring at the sky.
wait, hold on. Can they say the N-word? To all my fellow Negroes, you feel me? Can they say the N-word now?
Falls into a river and loses his belongings. Cruel Friedrich spends his time
That's like-
tormenting animals, even
that's probably the
killing
best one.
cats and birds. But when he beats
Just
his
losing belongings
dog,
is not
the
bad.
dog turns on him and eats his dinner while Friedrich lies injured in bed. Elsewhere,
That's not that bad.
Philipp causes chaos at dinner by refusing to sit still while Flying Robert, who goes outside during a storm, is carried away forever into the sky with his umbrella.
Wow.
Tender is the Flesh is a 2017 novel by Argentine author
2017?
Agustina Basterica, set in a future where a virus has
That
made all
already
animal
looks-
meat toxic to humans. In response, governments legalize the breeding and consumption of humans as livestock. These humans are called heads, and their meat is sold as special meat. People too poor to afford it survive by scavenging corpses. The story follows Marcos Tejo, a manager at a major human processing plant, who is estranged from his wife after the death of their infant son. One day, he receives a female human as a gift from a client and, unable to process her, keeps her alive in his home, naming her Jasmine. Despite it being illegal, he begins a relationship with her, and she eventually becomes pregnant. One day, when he returns home, Jasmine is in labor. He contacts his estranged wife, Cecilia, who works as a nurse, to help. Jasmine gives birth to a boy, whom Marcos takes for himself.
I hope this doesn't end the way I think it's gonna
He
end.
then brutally kills Jasmine, seeing her as no longer useful. A Clockwork Orange is a 19th
Holy shit! Holy betrayal! Oh my god! Bro! Run that back! Run that back!
contacts his estranged wife, Cecilia, who works as a nurse, to help. Jasmine gives birth to a boy, whom Marcos takes for himself and Cecilia. He then brutally kills Jasmine, seeing her as no
Bro, not even Eisen was this bad. You're telling me you got her, right? Oh, I said, oh, here you go. Here's some meat, bro. You can eat her. Wait, decide, you know what? I'm gonna show her love, kindness. I'm gonna be the one person, I'm gonna be her light. Y'all spend years together, spend 9 months getting ready for the baby. And when she finally gives birth, she's like, oh my God, he's such a beautiful baby boy. We're gonna raise him together. Nah, dog. Just for him to bring a knife and stab you? The last thing she saw was the man she thought she could trust. She died with absolute regret. She got hold, bro.
No longer
It always been
useful.
niggas you swear you can
A
trust, dog.
Clockwork Orange is a 1962 novel by
It's
English
a strange
writer
name.
Anthony Burgess. It follows 15-year-old gang leader Alex living in a dystopian future Britain. Alex and his gang
What's
friends
one of these
Dim,
dystopian
Georgie, and
futures?
Pete spend their nights attacking random people, fighting rival gangs, and one night breaking into a remote house where they beat a man and violate his wife. Alex is eventually betrayed by Dim during a burglary and arrested. While in prison, he
Holy!
volunteers for an experimental treatment that conditions him to feel extreme sickness at the thought of violence. This removes his ability to choose violence, but also strips away his free will, leading to his early release. It also destroys his ability to enjoy his beloved classical music. Back in society, Alex finds his parents have replaced him with a lodger, and he is homeless. He is later brutalized by former victims and ex-gang
Does
members
he get
Dim and
violated?
Georgie, who are now police officers, and dumped near a remote cottage. The cottage owner takes him in, but he turns out to be the guy whose wife was harmed during Alex's crimes. He locks him up and tortures him with loud classical music. After trying to jump from a window, Alex wakes in a hospital where government officials offer him support in exchange for cooperation. Tests later show his conditioning
How does this
has
end,
been
man?
reversed,
This got me end up some of the most
restoring his
brutal
old
stuff
violent
there.
impulses. Alex ends up working for the government and begins drifting back toward crime, but with less enthusiasm. He eventually considers leaving violence behind and starting a normal life. The Wasp Factory is a 1984 novel by Scottish
is not bad.
writer Ian Banks. It follows 16-year-old Frank, who lives in isolation on a remote island. Frank believes a childhood dog attack left him castrated, which has deeply traumatized him. He spends
Alright,
his
man.
time performing...
Hold on. Pause. Listen. Castration is probably one of the worst thing you can ever do to a man, dog. And I'll be scrolling sometimes on TikTok, and then I'll be seeing some people getting their cats castrated or their dogs. Just imagine you got castrated, dog. All your pride, your dignity, gone. Someone just chopped off your balls. That's messed up. Come on, dog. Let's just stop cutting off balls. Please. Unless, it's gonna cause harm, Unless you got there's something wrong with it and you have to amputate it. But come on, dog. Let's not be cutting off balls now, bro. Come on, embrace your balls, dog.
isolation on a remote island.
My back to stick you
Frank
back.
believes a childhood dog attack left him castrated, which has deeply traumatized him. He spends his time performing strange rituals.
Hold on, make sure I'm
killing
recording.
animals and
There we go.
consulting the homemade Wasp Factory, a giant clock face enclosed in glass. Frank places wasps inside, where they choose among 12 passages, leading to different deaths, including burning, crushing, or drowning. He treats the outcome as a prophecy. As the story
Wasps are
unfolds,
dickheads.
we learn that Frank previously
But-
murdered 2 cousins and his younger half-brother
Don't gotta
in
be all doing all
bizarre,
that.
sadistic ways. Meanwhile, Frank's older brother Eric escapes from a psychiatric institution. Eric was committed after arson and terrorizing children by force-feeding them live maggots. At home, Frank becomes
What's wrong with this
increasingly
family?
obsessed with his father's locked study, which he has never been allowed to enter. When his drunk father forgets to hide the keys, Frank discovers hormone medication, tampons, and what appears to be his own severed genitals preserved in a jar. After confronting his father, Frank learns the dog attack never caused the injury he believed. Instead, he was born female, and his father secretly raised him as a boy by giving him male hormones because he despises women. The preserved genitals were fake, created to support the lie. During the confrontation, Eric attempts to burn down the house but is stopped.
This
and
nigga
flees.
was
Frank
a girl?
later finds him again and reflects
What
whether
are we
he should leave the
doing?
island. House of Leaves is a 2000
What?
novel by American author Mark Danielewski. It tells the story of
We just be seeing us
journalist
think
Will
about this shit, right?
Davidson and his
Oh my
partner
God.
Karen Green, who discovered their Virginia house is somehow larger inside than outside. A dark hallway appears, leading to a vast, shifting maze that constantly expands and defies the laws of physics. This story is presented as a manuscript written by Zampano, a blind old man found dead before completing his work. His obsessive analysis examines a supposedly real documentary called The Davidson Record. The manuscript is later discovered by Johnny Truant, a troubled tattoo parlor assistant in Los Angeles. As he edits and organizes the pages, he becomes consumed by the story. His footnotes gradually reveal his own mental decline as he begins experiencing strange events and losing his grip on reality. His life eventually collapses. His friend dies in a motorcycle crash, he loses his job, becomes homeless, and after finishing the manuscript, burns it. Johnny is
Wow.
last seen sitting under a tree, trying to convince himself everything will be okay. The novel uses the endless maze as a metaphor for trauma, grief, and the fragile
Wow.
human mind. With its weird layout, text that runs upside down, backwards, in spirals, or across nearly blank pages, the book itself becomes a labyrinth. Many readers feel genuine unease or mental fog after reading it.
I'm feeling uneased
Johnny
right
Got His
now.
Gun is a 1938 anti-war novel by American writer Dalton Trumbo. It follows Joe Bonham, a young American soldier wounded by an artillery shell during World War I. When Joe wakes up in a hospital,
Yikes.
he realizes he has lost his limbs and all of his face, including his eyes, ears, nose, teeth, and tongue. But his mind is fully intact, leaving him trapped inside his own body. Unable to communicate
At that point, just let him go. Just let him go. It's for the best. He can't see, can't speak, can't hear, he can't touch, he can't walk, he can't do anything. He can't do anything. He's just trapped. That's tragic, dog. Cause you're in war. And you're shooting. And the craziest thing, dude, he probably has PTSD too. So he's just trapped there. He can't move. He can't do nothing. He just has to stay there with all his trauma. Oh my God, the last thing he ever saw was a large bullet coming down. I was like, shit, it's over, isn't it? Oh my
Joe
God.
attempts to suffocate himself, but discovers a tracheotomy prevents it. He decides he wants to be displayed in a glass coffin and shown to the public as proof of war's true cost. After months of tapping his head against his pillow in Morse code, he finally communicates his wish to military officials. But his requests for exhibition and euthanasia are denied. Joe will spend the rest of his life like this.
Why?
Light of the Fireflies is a 2016 novel by Spanish author Paul Penn. It follows a
Paul
10-year-old
Penn.
boy who has spent
That's
his
the
entire
least
life trapped in an
Spanish name I ever
underground basement with
heard.
his parents,
Paul
brother, sister,
Penn?
and grandmother, all of whom were
Yo, shout out to Paul
supposedly
Penn, man. But you
disfigured
sure
in
he
a
in English?
mysterious fire. The family worships a figure they call the One Up There, who sends supplies, and the boy is taught to fear the Cricket Man, a monster said to lurk outside. His parents say he is free to leave, but he eventually discovers the exit door has always been locked. As he grows older, the boy notices disturbing tensions within the family, especially surrounding his sister, who wears a mask to hide severe scars and is blamed for the family's problems. After she gives birth, he begins questioning who the father is and uncovers a web of abuse, manipulation, and secrets. He learns the Cricket Man was invented to keep the family captive. The fire was part of a cover-up, and the family has hidden a history of incest. The basement
Wow. What the
itself
hell,
is
man?
revealed to be a prison maintained by the family's own lies. In the end, the sister attempts to escape with the boy and her baby, but her own parents smash a glass jar in her face and she dies. The boy, whose real name is revealed to be Devil, later learns his grandfather is dying and that he is expected to take over the role of sending supplies to the basement. He leaves the underground prison with the baby, who is both his nephew and half-brother, and does exactly that. The remaining family members willingly seal themselves inside forever. The Road is a 2006 novel by American writer Cormac McCarthy.
Oh, it's this
It
guy
follows
again.
a father and his young son traveling across a burned, ash-covered United States after a catastrophe has destroyed civilization.
Wow,
They
man.
move south along
With
empty
all
roads
these books,
toward
I'm
the
starting to
sea,
believe that's
hoping
what's going to happen in the
survive the
future.
coming winter. Along the way, they encounter constant danger from starving survivors and violent groups. They are nearly killed when marauders capture the boy, but the father shoots one of them and they escape. In an abandoned house, they discover a cellar where people are being kept as livestock for cannibalism and flee in horror. As they continue, they witness extreme starvation and brutality, including an abandoned camp with a newborn roasted on a spit. Reaching the coast, they find an empty shore and are soon robbed of their cart and belongings. The father is eventually shot with an arrow and his health declines. Knowing he will die, he tells the boy he must continue alone. The boy stays with his father's body for days before being found by another man who convinces him to join his family, a glimmer of hope for survival. No Longer Human
That's
is
all?
a 1948 novel by Japanese writer Osamu Dazai, often
Bro,
described
these
as one of the
Japanese be
most
hitting these
disturbing
novels.
novels ever. The story follows Yozo Oba, a man who feels completely disconnected from other people and believes he is not fully human. From an early age, he experiences
I be
intense
feeling like
social
that too
anxiety,
sometimes.
alienation, and shame, seeing others as both incomprehensible and threatening. To survive socially, he creates a clown persona, constantly performing and acting normal while hiding his inner despair. He lives in constant fear that others will
I feel
discover
it's a
his true
reflection on a lot
self.
of people's
Over
lives, you
time,
feel me?
Yozo's life
Yeah,
unravels. His
hold
coping
on. Let's pause for a second, you feel me? This one, I know it's gonna be relatable to a lot of people, you feel me? Because sometimes you just be around a certain type of group and nobody that kind of matches up with what you wanted to do. Everybody is doing the same thing, but you're doing something different. So now you just feel different. You feel alienated. You feel me? You just feel isolated. You don't feel like you and anyone's really connected. Sure, you got friends, but they don't really feel like friends. They just feel more like, I don't know. It just feels like, I even know. You don't even know what they would feel like. You feel me? But it's like this been happening to a lot of people. You feel me? Well, all I can say is just keep on going, find people that like that aligns with your goals and dreams in life. You feel me? You don't gotta force yourself to be a part of anything. You feel me? Just keep on going, man. This be happening to a lot of people. I ain't gonna lie.
strategies fail and he falls into
Except the part where
alcoholism,
we feel like
drug
you're no longer
addiction,
human.
prostitution, and destructive relationships. After spending a night with a married woman, he tries to take both their lives by drowning. He survives, she dies, leaving him overwhelmed by guilt. He eventually ends up in a mental hospital. After his release, he lives in isolation with his brother where he feels completely emotionally numb. The Troop is a 2014 horror novel by Canadian writer Craig Davidson. It follows
Canadian?
Scoutmaster Tim Riggs and 5 Boy Scouts, Ephraim, Max, Newt, Kent, and Shelley, on a weekend trip to remote Falstaff Island. On the first evening, a malnourished stranger arrives on a boat
Shoot
and
him.
attacks Tim after being taken in. The man vomits a strange sludge, but is subdued. After the boys go hiking and spot a military helicopter circling the island, Tim has Max help examine the stranger, revealing a massive parasitic worm inside him that strangles the stranger to death. Tim kills the creature, but drinks some whiskey, contaminating it with the worms. Kent later wants to take over the camp, locks Tim in a cabin, but takes a victory sip from the whiskey, encouraged by Shelley. The others soon notice Kent is infected too and seclude him. Tim is eventually crushed by a tree collapsing on the cabin he was locked in. Shelley drowns Kent in the ocean, becoming infected too. He then hides and manipulates the uninfected Ephraim into paranoia, which causes him to use a knife on himself to look for the worms. Newt and Max, unaware of all this chaos, return to Shelley's hideout together with Ephraim. Overnight, Shelley burns Ephraim alive. Shelley also steals the spark plugs from the stranger's boat, which results in Max and Newt killing him. Max and Newt then escape on the boat but are stopped by soldiers, who shoot Newt after finding out he's infected too. Max is the last survivor. The story ends with Max heading back toward the island with a deep hunger inside of him. Blindness is a 1995 novel by Portuguese author José Saramago. It follows an unexplained epidemic that causes people to go blind. The outbreak rapidly spreads throughout an unnamed city.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
The contagion.
You know what's crazy though? This could probably actually happen. Going blind is insane. Nah, bro, whatever those scientists be cooking up in the lab, just keep it in the lab, bro. We don't need it. We don't need it right now, dog. Come on, dog. Society's already as bad as it is.
In an abandoned mental asylum. Among them are an eye doctor and his wife, who secretly retains her sight and pretends to be blind so she can remain with him. As society collapses, the asylum descends into chaos. Soldiers eventually abandon the inmates, while an armed group inside takes control of the food supply, extorting valuables and violently abusing women in exchange for rations.
Do you lose to blind people?
Filth take over. After witnessing these atrocities, the doctor's wife takes out the gang's leader, and a fire destroys their ward, allowing the survivors to escape. Outside, they find the city in ruins. Bodies fill the streets, packs of dogs eat the dead, desperate groups roam in search of food, and all social order has collapsed. The doctor's wife leads the survivors to hunker down in their old flat. Eventually, the first victim suddenly regains his sight. The unexplained cure spreads through the city as quickly as the blindness itself.
Alright, man, that was a very, very, very interesting video. It's a lot of wild stuff, a lot of interesting stuff, but you know, at the end of the day, all these books, they're being written for a purpose. Each of them has a meaning. Can I extract all the meanings from all the books? Probably not. I probably need to read them, but based off everything I've seen, I will not be reading any of these books. These books seem way, way too dark for me. You know, I'm more like fantasy, you feel me? I like anime and stuff where it's like, it's more upbringing, you feel me? But these just be terrible. Like, I remember like watching a documentary on the book, you know, I think it's All Tomorrows, you know, with the Q and whatever. Bro, I got traumatized for weeks. I mean, like, for weeks, I was just traumatized. So, yeah, these books aren't for me. You feel me? If y'all want to read none of these books, go ahead. But this is the end of the video. I hope y'all learned something new. Very informative video. Once again, the original video will be linked down in the bio, so go check it out. Thanks for watching. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Road to 100 subscribers. Let's get it. Peace, y'all.